Hi friends, and welcome to part 3 of the table saw build. So let's have a look where we at, shall we? Yeah, it's no rocket science what I'm doing here. Meanwhile I welded some angle iron to the tabletop, and I glued some wooden boards to the tabletop, as I said, to reduce the rattling noises. And I also made a cardboard mock-up for the dust hood. So this will be the next step to do for me, fabricating this dust hood out of sheet metal. Maybe it's not a Ron Covell style sheet metal work. If you don't know him, look on YouTube, Ron Covell. He is a very skilled craftsman when it comes to sheet metal work. Yeah, but this one seems to work for me. This stuff is nasty, and it ruins the saw blade in no time. Very hard material. It is sold as vinyl flooring here in Germany. I don't know what material it is. What I'm doing here is I'm making the wear strips, or the bearing surfaces, of the sliding table. So this one is fixed, because on top of this one will be this aluminum rail here, which has also this bearing surface here. Will be like so, and this strip here is replaceable, just in case it wears out. This is fixed, and also this one is a replaceable one. So if this material wears out after time, I can replace all these bearing surfaces and put new ones in, or put some other material in. I will see. By the way, the tabletop itself is a 1.5 millimeter steel sheet metal here, and that's the next step what I want to do. Glue these pieces onto this board, and actually this board to the sheet metal. I am carefully preparing my glue up here. Here is my table, which is absolutely flat, and I checked it with the level. Here I have a concrete board. Here is my tabletop, steel. I wiped everything with paint thinner to get rid of all the dirt and dust. And yes, I also have my weights here on standby, because I don't want to mess up this one. I don't want to end up with a crooked sliding table. So all my stuff is prepared here and I'm ready to go. Construction adhesive, or as we say in German, Kleberschmatze. Okay, looks good to me. And as I said, if this turns out to be a bad material choice, I can replace them and go for another material like polyethylene, or even bronze would be an option. So here again, no rocket science. One of the two is firmly fixed in place with screws and construction adhesive. The other one is to some extent adjustable. This way I can adjust here my ways here of the sliding table. And as I said, all of these wear strips here are replaceable. Joe. Joe. So guys, I am aligning the saw blade parallel to the miter slot, because the miter slot is the only thing here on the saw which is not adjustable. So I'm adjusting the saw blade to the miter slot parallel here with my dial indicator, and I'm spinning the saw blade a couple of times to get a accurate measurement. And I don't want to mount the sliding table yet, because it is getting too bulky and the rails will be in the way for some upcoming build steps. So here is that kind of lesson learned thing, because it was quite tedious to micro adjust the saw blade with just elongated holes. That's the reason why I made these micro adjust bolts here to get the sliding mechanism aligned much more easily. It did not work out as planned, but that's mainly due to my poor skills on working with tap. But yeah, in the end it's working. It's ugly, but it's working. As usual, no rocket science here. I'm just fumbling through my wires here, so from the end contacts and the linear actuators through some conduit, and the conduit goes to this point here, because somewhere here in this region there will be a junction box where all these wires are connected in the end. So I'm figuring out the rough placement of the pole here and the beam where the parallelogram for the dust hood here gets mounted, and there will be another beam here where the control box will sit. So I don't want to turn on the machine here under the table. So I had to add this support gusset here because I was not happy with the stability of this arm, but now it's fine, at least for me. Next step is to sand the tabletop so that everything which protrudes or may protrude gets sanded flush, and then I can start to paint the tabletop. This is a rib fence construction which I almost always use on my machines. I tried different types of constructions and different methods, but this one works out the best all the time. It's an angle iron attached to the machine itself, and this U-shape thing here with a bolt hooks in like so, and you can tighten your rib fence, and the rib fence itself is attached here onto a metal plate which can be adjusted to some extent. As I said, it works perfectly fine. That's the reason why I used it here on my old machine. Pretty much the same thing. Or here on my bandsaw, same thing. And in the meantime, I'm also figuring out how big the switch panel has to be and where all the buttons and knobs should be. Plywood which I had was not quite wide enough, so I glued on oak edge banding here to stiffen this edge here. These plywood parts here, phenolic plywood, they serve two purposes. One, they keep the rib fence square to the saw table, and the other thing is this way I can have a small compartment . And if you wonder what this is, it is the base plate for my homemade power feeder. Okay, so the rib fence is done, and I aligned it parallel to the miter slot for the moment. The final adjustment as well as a proper star knob will be done later in the process. Guys, I created a monster. It's a real marathon to build such a machine, and since the video is already too long, I will stop this episode here and lead you to part 4 of the build, where I hopefully finish the machine and we can do some test cuts. And for now I say thanks for watching. Please share, subscribe, leave me a comment, and bye bye.